think what makes it extra complicated for us is that we still have embryos. So technically, we could have more kids.
Yeah. Hey guys. So a couple years back, when Desmond was littler, there was a question we used to get a lot, which was, are you guys done having kids? And people don't ask that as much anymore. Probably because they have other questions, I'm guessing. So today we're going to talk about our infertility journey and whether we're done having kids or not.
So we started to try for kids about 6 months after we got married because of her.
That's very true.
And it took us another 6 years to actually have them. And I think it was a big challenge, mostly just because I think the culture of where we were raised and how Amanda saw her value as a wife was to have kids as soon as possible.
For sure, yeah. Here in Utah especially, being raised in an LDS culture, Mormons get married early and have a lot of kids. And so that was our goal and our plan early on.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like those first 6 years were really stressful for us. I don't think I was as stressed as you were, but because I could feel that this was something that was really important to you, it started to become something that was like really challenging, I think, in our marriage.
Yeah, I think if any of you have been in a similar situation, it's hard to relax. I guess it's hard for me to relax in general sometimes. It's hard to relax, and some particulars of our journey made it especially hard. So just to give you a rundown, a few years into our process, I was diagnosed with endometriosis, which didn't surprise me because I had always had really painful cycles. So I did several surgeries for that, and the doctors hoped that my fertility would increase. Then we went through the whole process of, doing the baseline Clomid, the fertility drugs. We did a whole bunch of artificial insemination. I did have one miscarriage with that. But yeah, like 6 years into that process, we finally did in vitro fertilization, which is a very challenging process. Many of you maybe have gone through that, but yeah, we were very blessed to get pregnant with Emmy. I got pregnant with Emmy the very first round of IVF that we did.
Yeah, we actually put 2 embryos in. We went to the University of Utah. So we were kind of anticipating that we might have twins, but we were obviously very happy just to have Emmy at the same time because it felt really overwhelming, the idea of having twins.
Yes, and many times after I thought, one is perfect. One is so perfect for us, I think. Twin moms are like a special breed of mom. I am on my way over to the kids' school, kind of doing double duty today. I'm actually helping in Desmond's class with these little class activities they do. And I'm also bringing a treat because it's Emmeline's birthday. It's the birthday girl. I'm here to bring your birthday treat. Are you having a good birthday?
Uh-huh.
Can you tell me why you picked mochi for your class?
I love mochi, and it's like a Japanese treat.
It is. It's a Japanese treat. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday.
So on a scale of 1 to 65, how happy are you with your purchase?
Really, really, really happy.
So after we had Emmy, Hudson was actually a big surprise. They were born a little more than 2 years apart, and we didn't have to do any fertility with Hudson. And of course, that was so nice to not have to go through that rigorous process with him. Hey. I'm going to get you.
Yeah, I remember coming home and our little Emmy, who was around 1 year old, was holding the pregnancy test, and I was shocked because we were both like, we have to do in vitro. That's the only way we can have more kids. So
yeah,
that was a big surprise. So Hudson is such a surprise child. We haven't told him that yet, but one day we'll sit him down. So we're here at the skate park with Desmond and Hudson. And Hudson's been especially excited because he got a new scooter
Yeah.
and has been wanting to go here forever, begging every day. So this is a first, really, for all of us. But Hudson's pretty good though because he watches lots of YouTube tutorials, and so does Desmond, right?
No, I don't function.
You're supposed to say you do. You okay, buddy?
And then after Hudson, we did try for several more years, and we ended up doing in vitro fertilization again to conceive Desmond. And so 2 of our 3 kids were conceived via IVF.
Will you smile for Mama?
He is 0 still. I was like, how many is he? My dad was like, he's 0. And he was very adorable when he was born. He made an adorable face.
So we have loved being parents. It's been hard at times, but I think in a lot of ways has made us feel really grateful, this experience of it being more difficult, because it's helped us really appreciate, if it wasn't for modern science, we wouldn't have 3 kids. Often I have people ask me, like, do you wish you could have transitioned earlier? And I would say no, just because I wouldn't have had the experience of having our kids. And I guess, that's partially true because we did IVF, which means
That it probably would have been possible except for Hudson. Yeah, and just to explain a little bit more clearly, the fact that Shaye has been on hormone replacement therapy for several years makes it so that we wouldn't be able to have children now with her fertility factor. That's why modern medicine in this situation does give us an option that's pretty amazing.
But I'm not sure anything could have prepared us for the stage we're at now, which is the stage of being done. And I so often hear people just say, yeah, you just know, like when you're done having kids. And I think what makes it extra complicated for us is that we still have embryos. So technically, we could have more kids.
Yeah, we have 2 embryos that we've been paying a lot of money every year to keep preserved, because it's kind of hard to know like what to do with them. And people have a lot of different ethical views about that. And I think they're all really valid. Yeah, that's been hard. That's been hard for us, because I think you'll agree with me. There's so many times where we just feel completely maxed out with 3 kids. They have so many needs, and they have a lot of fun things they're involved in. Sometimes I just feel like, whoa, okay, this is a lot. And so that's sort of been the pointing factor to, we probably ethically should be done having kids. But at the same time, it is hard knowing like we have 2 more potential kids that exist in embryo form, which is a little bit different, that, we could totally have, or we could just live with the fact that we never got to meet those, little potential lives. So
That's something that I can tell has been especially hard for you, because
yeah,
Amanda will often say, I think we're done. And you'll say we're done. It doesn't make any more sense. But when it comes to like letting the University of Utah know that we're no longer be using these embryos, that's a hard thing for you to come to terms with.
Yeah. And even the other day, it was funny because I've had like all of our baby stuff in Desmond's room, and I was kind of like pulling it all out to donate it. And I just like started crying, and Emmy came in and she was like, what is going on? Like, my kids, are sensitive and they don't love it like when I cry, but I was like, this is sad. Like, I want to be one of those people that's just like, yeah, I'm like so clear on this. And it's just not been like that. It's definitely been a bittersweet thing for sure.
Okay. Yeah, it's something I try not to talk to Amanda about, because it's something I think about too, but I don't want it to be harder for you. God, I feel like I cry in every video now. I don't know. Is it hard for you guys when you decide that, it's the end of your family? I don't know if you have any advice, but
It's this mixture, like having a new baby, of like pure, unadulterated joy. And it's also very difficult, right? Like every pregnancy I've had, I've been like, hold on. And it's hard, but it's so like special. So it's hard to be like, that part of our life is done. And I think like when we talk about the pros and cons of it, you know, the cons being we're maxed out already.
Yeah.
Our baby now is 5, so there would be a big age gap.
He's almost 6, so we have a big age gap.
But then the pros, a lot of times I think of how cool it would be for you to be able to be a parent, to start that way, you know, to have a little baby authentically as you are. That I think that would probably be a really healing thing for you. So
yeah, I think there are a lot of pros and cons. I think it's just kind of scary when you're the one that has to make that decision, you know.
Yeah.
It's just a hard experience to just say, okay, it's official. So
I think too, like I think for a lot of couples, it's just sort of like a process, or a lot of people just kind of try and they can't have anymore. But for us, it's like, it's so deliberate. We either have to say, okay, we're going to do IVF again, or we're done and either continue to pay a lot of money every year to store them or donate them to science. And those are kind of like the main options. There's embryo adoption, but I think that would be like an emotionally hard thing for us too. And so it's so like you have to deliberately like make a decision, and that's hard.
I was saying to you last night, it's like I feel like my mind says it's logical not to do this, you know, to be
Not
done.
to have more.
Yeah,
kids,
not to have more. My heart's like, it's like that part of me that's like, you know, what would one more be? I think honestly what gets me is when I look at the old footage of our kids when they're little. Of course they're still little, we need to know that. But it's like seeing them when they're just 2 and they're just so cute.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that phase is over. But anyway, well, now you know what we're feeling. I think that's something we're going to have to think more about and figure out.
I think it is hard to talk about. It's hard to talk about things sometimes that I'm not completely clear on what to do, but I'm guessing a lot of you have probably been there. And I would love to hear from you in the comments, like, how did you know? How did you make that decision for your family if you have kids? Were you one of those people that just knew, like you knew you were done? I can't even tell you how many times I've heard that. And I've heard some people say, yeah, I never knew. I just kind of had to stop having kids or whatever. So yeah, we'd love to hear your experiences on this one. See you guys.